Ready to talk some Noles football with Andrew Johnson.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith. Thank you for making this your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in to talk some Noles football with me. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers bet $5 and they get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started right away. All right, my friend, Mr. Andrew Johnson, Prep Red Zone from the platform. Glad you could stop in. You're a big Noles fan. When I used to work with you, I mean, you also used to talk about the Noles when they were struggling. Like they were, I met you in like 21. So, yeah. I mean, Florida State 2021 was not rolling by any stretch of the imagination. First off, just give me a 10, 15-second overview. Why Noles and why have you always been so loyal to Florida State?
Yeah, first of all, Brian, thank you for having me on the show, man. Definitely been working with Brian for some years now. Put me in the game and got me a head start of what I'm doing now. So shouts out to Brian for sure. But no, man, a lot of people don't know I was born in Mariana, right there in the Tallahassee area. Yeah, so I was born in Mariana, Jackson County. So, no, I'm very familiar with the area. My whole family are Florida State fans. You know what I mean? I was in Florida State since I was a baby. So we can go back to the baby pictures for me, man. It's no blood running through the veins for sure.
Okay, well, that explains a lot, but just wanted to kind of throw that out there. You work with Prep Red Zone now, and you do a lot of scouting and stuff, and that's something that's definitely my MO. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. But first off, I want to talk about Florida State. They're 0-2. You and I were discussing it before we hit the record button. It is bizarre. And, I mean, you even asked me, hey, Brian, what do you think is the problem? Yes. I talked about physicality, which I've talked about on several of these podcasts here at Locked On Seminoles. I know you watch the games and go back and watch clips. You got other stuff going on too, but am I missing anything? Is it like, what do you see that's the problem with Florida State, man?
Man, where do I start, B? You know what I'm saying? I think you kind of kicked it off for sure. Just flat out lack of effort and toughness on both sides of the ball. Has been one thing I've noticed. We can start off with the offensive line. I think that's been a big shocker for me, with guys like, Darius Washington, guys that could have been preseason All-Americans, they're not setting the tone. And when you're not able to run the ball, it makes your offense one-dimensional. And when you got a quarterback that's struggling, that's a whole nother conversation we're going to get into. It creates a whole nother issue for the offense. So the offensive line has been lackluster. And let's move over to the defensive side. I think the defensive line has been one of the biggest surprises for me, man. Just not able to, get any penetration with those guys like Joshua Farmer, Dale Jackson. Man, we could talk about Patrick Payton too. I think he was kind of helped out with Jared Verse and O'Brien Fisk shedding some guys to that side to give him some one-on-one opportunities. So just issues on both sides of the ball. We could talk main man, play calling issues too. Hey, Norvell, I got to get at you, man. He's been having some play call issues for the last couple of years. I think Florida State fans have been, a little spoiled with Jordan Travis. When you have a playmaker like that at quarterback, somebody like that can move around, it kind of makes the offensive line look better, right? And it makes the play calling look better as well when you got a guy not cold and play calling. So I think Jordan Travis kind of spoiled the fans a little bit too. So just issues on both sides of the ball, but just lack of effort, Brian. Just getting pushed around by guys. It's not like they're playing Miami and Clemson, Notre Dame yet. It's Georgia Tech, Boston College. Teams we used to grow up seeing Florida State just manhandling. So I think that's been the issue when you're not able to, set the offensive line like that with prospects like this, and you're not able to get any penetration or sacks, man. Patrick Payton, and Marvin Jones is a whole nother conversation. Man, we can go down the line, Brian, but for sure, lack of effort and toughness is an issue.
Well, I agree with that. And unfortunately, I also agree with the following. Until otherwise proven, I'm not going to believe it now. You did it one game and came back out and did it again. It was like a repeat.
Man.
So now it's on the players, the coaches, the staff, the train, the mentality, the physicality, the ability to game plan properly. All of that needs to come in.
Well, when you lay a dud like that, and this for the Florida State fans watching, when you lay a dud like that, it's like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? First game of the year, we're playing across the country. You know what I mean? It might have been, you know what I'm saying, just a fluke, but just to come back home, that have that sellout crowd, it just doesn't look good for the coaching staff and the recruits as well, man. It's not a good look.
It is not. So that makes the next point even more important. We talk about fit in football. You and I have scouted a lot of guys together standing next to each other, and we talk about fit with quarterback, receiver. Hey, this guy fits this offense, etc.
Yeah.
Before he even took a snap for the Noles in a live game, what was your reaction when you heard DJ was going to be coming to Florida State?
Man, we can start just with, you know what I mean, when they brought DJU and Cam Ward on a visit to the campus, right? I was like, okay. I watched DJU, man. My thing with DJU, Florida State fans, I'm sure some of you guys notice this as well. My issue with him is his lack of progression. When you take a look at his stats and his numbers, even from his freshman year, he took a little jump, but he's a 2,500-yard guy, 20 touchdown guy. You know what I mean? Look at his touchdown to interception ratio. It never really improved even when he jumped over to Oregon State. So it's like I was already weary of him. 6'4", 240-pound guy, can't really move out of the pocket. Mike Norvell has never really, been successful with a guy that hasn't been able to move out of the pocket. Going back to the Memphis days, we can talk about that as well. So I wanted Cam Ward. I'm going to just be flat out honest, you know what I mean? Just looking what he done, even though it was a lesser conference, but still just what he can bring to the offense, man, his dynamic ability, right? Being able to extend the plays. And my thing when watching the Miami game, his composure, that was the biggest thing that stood out to me for Cam Ward was just him just being composed, going, you know what I'm saying, just like he was a seasoned vet, like he's ready for the game, ready for the next level. So, I was already wary of DJU. And like I said earlier, I think fans were kind of spoiled with Jordan Travis being able to move out of the pocket. So, and we see what we got. I know one thing I can't just pause this really quick, B. If you go look at some of those drives, man, it's not like he's not executing like at all. You know what I mean? There are some drives and some throws to where he looks like he's stepping into his throws, but it's a lot of confidence with me, man. He has no confidence, and he's lacking mechanics for DJU. He's not trusting his mechanics. That's a big thing with DJU for now.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was kind of noticing that during the Georgia Tech game. And then when they were down 21-14, he gets into those bad situations. It's fourth down. I was ready to post something on Twitter. Hey, this game's over. He hits a money shot.
Yes,
they
sir.
get into another fourth down, another pretty darn good throw again.
Yep.
And it's like, it's so odd when the pressure is absolutely the highest. I mean, it's fourth down.
Yeah.
He executed.
That's the most frustrating thing, right? When you're showing flashes, when you got a 6'4", 240-pound guy that can push the, passing game like that and spread the field, it's frustrating, man, when he shows those flashes, getting Malik Benson, a guy like that out in the field. You want guys like that to get the ball. Shout out to Portier, you know what I mean? He made some plays, of course, but I want to see more of Jaylen Brown, right? I want to see some of these athletes that they have in the receiving courts. It's like we got no receivers. No, we got receivers, right? We got some guys. And Hakeem coming back will be a major, you know what I'm saying? That'll be a major thing. So, man, I think they just got to get rolling. And we can talk about next game, right? Are they going to – I would be surprised, if they didn't start him, you know what I mean? But Florida State fans, of course, right? If they don't have a package for Glenn coming out in that game, I don't know.
Play, I'd be a little disappointed.
I don't know if Mike Norvell, how he'll leave Bobby Field, man.
I'll get into Memphis in just a minute with you. First off, I'm going to have a word here with our sponsor, but Andrew is right. The situation is a little iffy right now with DJ Uiagalelei. When we come back, we're going to talk more about that and a little bit about the Memphis game. All right, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get 3 weeks of free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base package, you'll be able to watch all the Sunday afternoon out-of-market games. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. And if that is not enough, FanDuel also has something special for Locked On Seminoles listeners this weekend. Make sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app to use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all Sunday on September the 8th pregame moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting on Friday, this week. View your account page now to learn more. Visit FanDuel.com to look at odds to include in this weekend. All right, man. You brought up something. It was the perfect segue. And I've already prepped people for this, so I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yeah.
We're not exactly happy with the scenario with DJ. I think that's an understatement. I mean, he's okay, but he's inconsistent. And to your point, I think he's a very mediocre guy when it comes to Norvell's fit. There was a play where he did like a little half roll to the left. The guy's open. He beats his man. And it was like a father throwing grounders to his son that's trying to learn playing shortstop.
Man,
you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a 30-yard pass. It's like a 10, 15-yard pass. And he's got a gun. He just doesn't throw on the run.
Even more alarming pass, Brian, was when he tried to zip the ball to Ja'Kai Douglas coming across wide open across the field. That would have been a touchdown. And he still short-armed it. You know what I mean? He's not stepping into his throws. That's one thing. It was another pass where he kind of second-guessed himself and pump faked and then tried to throw it again, and he missed the guy. It's like another pass that went completely out of bounds. I know you Florida State fans know this, right? It was just a lot of miscues and the mechanics, man. His confidence with him. I don't know if Mike got to get him going, maybe some more screens. I don't know if he needs more.
Throw more like behind the line.
Just from over the years, man, I can't see more screens. I can't see no more screens, man. But yeah, I don't know how you get him going. If he's not going, I think it's time to get him out of there. It's going to be tough for the boosters. Hey, they put a lot of money together to get this guy, but sometimes you just got to make tough decisions, man. Billy Napier had to make one this week with Lagway. He had to make it. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to make tough decisions, man.
Well, the pass in the end zone when they ran a good concept to get the inside guy free, busted coverage, and he throws it to the cheerleader.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it was not like literally he was open. It was obvious there was not a trailer, no chance of failure. You throw a fly ball right there.
Wow.
A can of corn. You just want the guy to catch it in his gut. And he overthrew. I mean, there was no chance. Randy Moss wouldn't have got that.
Man,
so
I think even if he's not going with the arm, if he was able to use his size to get the run game going, to open up a Rodell Williams, you know what I mean, to open up a Jalen Lucas with the speed going out, maybe they can use some misdirection plays to get the offense going. I don't know what it is with the offensive line. I want to say it's Alex Atkins not being there, but man, sometimes when you're the leaders on the team, when you got seniors on that offensive line, that shouldn't matter. You know the scheme. You know what we're trying to do here at Florida State, and that's run the ball and set the tone. We're just getting flat out outbeat, out effort.
No argument. So that brings to this. Memphis is the next game. Obviously, Florida State is not playing.
Yeah, bye week.
They're off this weekend, and they probably need it.
Yeah, that's a positive right now.
They can get healthy, etc. They play Memphis, two things. Number one, that's Norvell's old team, so it'd be embarrassing if they lost, but do not discount it. And I've said this on my show multiple times, even coming into the season. The quarterback for Memphis is Seth Hennigan.
Yes, sir.
You know who he is.
Yeah, we seen him. We seen
you know what he threw for 3,800 and some yards last year.
Yeah.
If Florida State gets down early to them, because he's a tremendous second down play action guy,
that's gonna be ugly, man. Losing to the
first quarter.
You know they're gonna be gunning for it too, right? Old coach, like they want to make.
Yeah. I mean, that's just natural.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So
yeah.
Some of those fifth-year seniors, like he recruited to Memphis.
Man, let's talk. Do you think there's an issue with Norvell with recruiting and stuff, man? Let's even going back to when he first came over, right? Let's talk about some of the quarterbacks he's had.
That's something I talked to Larry Bluestein about.
Yeah.
And Larry said, like, he used a comparison with Miami, and he's like, Miami took a bunch of transfers, but they also killed it in the high school rank. Not one or the other, was both.
Yeah.
Now, this past Florida State class was pretty good, but until this past one, like, Florida State just hasn't recruited to the level they should from the high school ranks. And if you look at the sophomore and junior classes in particular, how many guys are starting or major players that they recruited out of the high school ranks?
And I'm sure
not a ton. And that's a problem.
Really quick, Brian. I'm sure Noles fan know this too, right? Just let's look at the history, right? Let's look at Tate Rodemaker. We can go all the way back to Tate, right? He's at Southern Miss now. think he threw 2 interceptions this past week. You can go to Chuba Purdy, right? Another guy that's out of the program. And then you got Brock Glenn. If this guy goes out and he doesn't perform, that's just another quarterback that's on Mike Norvell. That's 5 years now, right? And you don't have at least a sophomore that's ready to go. We know Luke. We watched him play, but he's not ready.
We know
he's not ready.
We both know that he's not ready.
He's not ready, right? But he's the guy for sure. We can have a whole nother show about that. He's going to be a guy. But man, when you look at his track record, I don't know if it's an issue with development or is it an issue of just him not being able to evaluate talent, or we got to look at that, especially with this coaching staff.
It's bizarre, man, because if you look at all the things that go on in football, there's no way around it. If you miss at quarterback, things can go sideways. I can give all kinds of examples for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
In 2009, Texas goes to the final game. Quarterback completed 70% that year, but he's going on to the NFL.
Yeah.
They got beat by Bama. Next year, Texas goes 5-7, and they had like 4 or 5 defensive players get drafted. They didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah. I know what season you're talking about too, man.
2010.
Yeah.
2006 had Brady Quinn, first-round draft pick. They didn't have a guy ready next year. They went 3-9.
Yeah.
Like if you miss a quarterback,
it's an issue, man.
It's
especially when you're in year 5.
That's what I mean. Like some of this is on Norvell.
Yeah, we got to be real.
We can talk about whatever we want. And I think he's a good coach.
He's done
a lot of things. I mean,
he can recruit. You know what I mean? Look what he's done in the portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you have to hit on both, not one or the other.
Yeah.
Both. And I said that all off season, and I had people complaining.
Yeah.
Saying this. I'm like, look, this is not how you maximize.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
And I gotta agree, but I guess a positive, you know what I mean? We can't just outright write them off. They had Florida State 19 straight wins, you know what I mean? A game away from the playoff. You going into this season, you think you're a couple pieces away, right? Just from being right back in the top. As I said, I think the fans were a bit just shocked, just listening to some media guys and even Mike Norvell himself with the missing valuations, right? Going into the season. I think they're more shocked and confused than just flat out angry.
Well, here's the other thing. I don't know how much any of the young quarterbacks are going to play, but you come into another point, bring about the portal, DJ and all that. Let's just hit it.
Yeah.
If DJ struggles or goes on and off this year, if one or both of the young guys don't play, Brock Glenn and our guy Luke Cromahaw, you have to get those guys experience because I'm sure you've heard about this. In October, they're voting on a proposed amendment, another one, by the NCAA to get rid of the spring transfer portal window. Odds are they are. So if you miss in December for the quarterback you want,
that's going to be huge.
So you would have your 3 quarterbacks. You got a recruit coming in. You got 2. You don't have 3 quarterbacks on the roster and hardly any experience.
Let's hope they keep Tramel Jones, right? North Florida kid out of Mandarin High School.
He's banged up right now, but
banged up right now. That if he misses out on him, he's going to be scrambling.
So
they got the Brady Smeagol kid. He's good.
Yeah, he's a good player too, but he's 26. He can't even come in yet. They're in a situation where they got a hit again on the portal. It's odd we mentioned that. I think it would be wise to at least look at it that way now. Yeah. And if for whatever reason Brock Glenn comes in and he balls out, then you bail on the portal. Yeah. They got to go all in and get a quarterback. They can't have 2 years in a row where they struggle at quarterback. Can't do it.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you keep hating to smash the portal, right? But like you said, for a quarterback, the guy that's going to lead,
a different deal.
It's a different deal. You got to put the money together. You got to have those meetings with the boosters. You got to make it happen. That's why I was so disappointed when they didn't drop the bag for a guy like Cam Ward, even though he played games, declared for the NFL and then the kid switched back and then went to, he played games as well. But that's the game nowadays. But you got to be able to come with the bag and with this transfer portal for a guy that's going to lead the ship.
That's kind of how I looked at it too. But, we'll see how it goes. But I agree with you. Brock's got to play, and to some degree.
Oh, he's got to. They got to have a package for Brock.
At one point later this year, I'd like to see Luke get in, and I'm not talking about handing off to Cam Davis.
Cam Davis, all right. When
they got to let him throw it a few times to get just so he goes into the offseason, hey, I can play. He needs to know.
He needs some reps. He just needs reps. That's what's most important.
100%.
These young kids, even on the offensive line, if these guys aren't going to set the tone and push some guys around, hey, let the young guys get some reps, man.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
That's part of it. So,
yeah.
Well, now since you came on and talked some Noles, I'm going to let you talk about what some of the other things you do. I know you prep red zone, etc.
Yeah.
Andrew, tell everybody about what you got going on and some of the kids you've seen. What's going on, man?
Awesome, man. First of all, make sure you guys are following me on all platforms at Real News 102. Also got a show of mine called The Rundown as well. You can subscribe to that channel on YouTube. But yeah, man, I'm with Prep Red Zone right now on the platform, just kind of doing a little bit of scouting, kind of turned into a national scout now, right? Kind of told you guys that Brian put me on the game here a few years ago, but it's been going really well. So half of the year, it starts off at 7v7. Going out to different states, evaluating different kids throughout the country. It's amazing, man. And it ain't nothing better than Florida ball. I can tell y'all that. But coming over to Prep Red Zone, just covering high school ball, getting out to see these kids and live in pads. That's what it's all about. It's about being boots on the ground. Shouts out to some of these other recruiting services. But I don't know, man. Some of these, I don't see a lot of these guys out there like some of, like a Brian Smith. You know what I mean? It's like a Mark Henry out there in Texas. These guys are boots on the ground. They're out there week in, week out, evaluating kids, giving you the real deal. So that's what I'm about. I'm about the grind. That's how you met me for sure as a student at UCF. So I appreciate you for having me on the show. As I said, guys, make sure you follow me at Real News 102. I'll be watching the show, man. Y'all Noles Nation. Y'all be going they be going crazy. I respect what you build over here on Locked On, man. I hope to come on again and talk some Noles ball.
Absolutely. Andrew, stick with me here. But folks, thank you very much for tuning in again to Locked On Seminoles. Enjoy the football and everything this weekend, even though Florida State is off. But that's going to wrap it up. Everybody have a good one, and I will talk to you soon.
Peace.